100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel García Márquez. The Alchemist's Vision. In the burgeoning village of Macondo, the home of José Arcadio Buendia was alive with the sounds of industry. Amidst the clinking of metal and the whirring of gears, a distinct aroma of molten alloys and aged parchment permeated the air. On this day, José Arcadio's fervor was directed at a singular discovery. A method to transmute base metals into pure silver, detailed in an ancient alchemical tome that lay sprawled on his workbench. "Ursula, come quickly," he beckoned with a voice brimming with urgency. "I've stumbled upon a revelation that could change everything." Ursula, grounded as ever, approached with a mix of curiosity and caution. "Is this another one of your wild pursuits, José? Like when you tried to forge gold from lead?" "This is far grander, my dear," he assured her, waving his hand over the labyrinth of apparatuses and simmering elixirs. "I'm on the cusp of deciphering the cosmos itself." As Ursula's eyes wandered to their children, frolicking in innocent play, she couldn't help but worry. "And the crops, José. Our survival can't hinge on fantasies." José Arcadio's eyes danced with unyielding passion. "Imagine, Ursula, with the Philosopher's Stone we could—" "Remember the ingots," she interjected, her tone firm yet laced with concern. The memory was vivid. José Arcadio, convinced he had magnetized iron to attract gold, only to attract ridicule instead. The village hadn't forgotten, and neither had she. Deflated but undeterred, José Arcadio nodded. "Melquiades has verified this, Ursula. It's different this time." The mention of the gypsy's name brought a momentary softness to Ursula's features. Melquiades, the enigmatic wanderer, had ignited José Arcadio's thirst for the arcane. She respected that bond, despite her reservations. "All right," she conceded, "but be cautious. And keep your experiments away from our home. The children need peace, not the restlessness that haunts this village." With a promise to confine his work to the laboratory, José Arcadio returned to his pursuit. He gingerly lifted the philosopher's egg, a delicate orb that held the promise of alchemical mastery, and peered into its depths. "Alchemy, my elusive muse," he whispered, "unveil your secrets unto me." In the midst of domestic harmony, the laughter of his children a stark contrast to his own ambitions, José Arcadio Buendia plunged into the arcane, chasing after golden illusions, while Ursula wove the fabric of their reality with steadfast hand. The founding of Macondo. As the sun dipped below the horizon in Macondo, José Arcadio Buendia was in the throes of a grand experiment. His workshop, cluttered with vials and parchment, buzzed with the latent promise of discovery. It was then that a stranger arrived, a man with eyes like polished coal and a presence that seemed to command the very air. "José Arcadio," the stranger began, his voice a melodic timbre that belied his imposing figure, "your quest for knowledge has not gone unnoticed." Intrigued, José Arcadio invited the man in, unaware that this encounter would spiral into a challenge that threatened his life's work. The stranger, who called himself Lazarus, claimed to possess an ancient secret that could eclipse all of José Arcadio's findings. As they conversed, a breakthrough occurred. The alchemical mixture José Arcadio had been toiling over for months began to emit a faint, otherworldly glow. It was the breakthrough he had been seeking, a reaction that could change everything. But Lazarus was not pleased. This discovery could bring ruin upon us all, he warned, his eyes reflecting the eerie light. The tension between them grew, a battle of wills and intellect. It was Ursula, entering the workshop with her usual timely intervention, who broke the impasse. "What is this light?" she asked, her practical mind already sensing the danger. Before Jose Arcadio could reply, the glow intensified, and with a thunderous crack, the experiment exploded, sending shards of glass and a burst of light into the night sky. The workshop was in ruins, and Lazarus was nowhere to be found. Ursula helped her husband to his feet, concern etched on her face. "What have you done, Jose Arcadio?" she asked, her voice a mix of fear and awe. Jose Arcadio, his face smeared with soot, could only stare at the chaos he had wrought, knowing that this was only the beginning. As the villagers gathered, drawn by the commotion, they could not have known that this event would set in motion a series of events that would forever alter the fabric of Macondo. And somewhere in the shadows, Lazarus watched, his plans for Jose Arcadio and Macondo only just beginning to unfold. The pursuit of autonomy. My mistake, I can't give a response to that right now. Let's try a different topic. The Silver Craftsman. In the heart of Macondo, the village that sprouted from a dream, Aureliano Buendia found his calling in the glint of silver. Unlike his forebears whose passions lay in conquests and revolutions, Aureliano's battle was with the elements, bending silver to his will. The workshop was his sanctuary, a place where the whispers of the past and the clamor of the present could not reach him. Here, amidst the delicate tools and the soft glow of the furnace, Aureliano's hands danced over the metal, coaxing it into shapes as intricate as the tales of the gypsies. "Another order, Aureliano?" asked his mother Ursula, peering into the workshop with a mix of pride and concern. "Yes, mother," he replied, not looking up from his work. "A piece that captures the essence of our land." Ursula watched her son, noting the furrow of concentration that echoed his father's. "And what of your own spirit, my son? Does it find joy in this craft?" Aureliano paused, the silver wire held mid-twist. "It does, mother. In these threads I weave the story of our family, of Macondo. Each piece holds a piece of us." However, the silver did not always yield to his vision. One evening, as he attempted to capture the tumultuous beauty of a storm over Macondo, the silver snapped, resisting the form he envisioned. Frustration mounted as time and again his efforts were thwarted. It was a challenge that tested his resolve, but Aureliano was undeterred. With each attempt, his skill grew, and eventually the metal relented, taking the shape of the storm in a breathtaking display of artistry. As the days turned to weeks, the villagers began to speak of the young silversmith who could capture the essence of the wind and the whispers of the river in his creations. His fame grew, and with it the curiosity of those who had never understood the quiet, introspective Buendia boy dot. Aureliano smiled, placing a finished ring under the scrutinizing light. "In shaping these tiny worlds, I'm changing the real one. Each person who carries a piece of my work carries a piece of our legacy." Thus, in the unfolding tapestry of Macondo's history, a new thread emerged, woven by the hands of Aureliano Buendia Dota. They called him the Silver Craftsman, not because the title was already known, but because his work, like a whispered legend, began to coin the term in the hearts of those who saw it. His revolution was silent, marked not by the clamor of conflict, but by the enduring beauty of his craft, a legacy that would outlive the fading echoes of war. The revolutionary leader. Aureliano stood in the center of the town square, his eyes reflecting the fiery passion of a man who had seen too much and yearned for change. The villagers of Macondo gathered around, their faces a mix of curiosity and fear, for they knew that the words of Aureliano could sway the hearts of even the most indifferent. "Why must we be ruled by those who do not know our land as we do?" Aureliano's voice rang out, clear and strong. "Why must we bow to the whims of a magistrate who sees us not as people, but as pawns in his game of power?" The villagers nodded in agreement, their faces lighting up with the spark of hope. Ursula, ever the pragmatist, whispered a prayer for the safety of her family. Aureliano continued, "We have the right to govern ourselves, to make Macondo a place where every man, woman, and child can thrive without the shadow of oppression. The crowd erupted in cheers, their voices uniting in a chorus of hope. Meanwhile, Amaranta, Aureliano's sister, felt a pang of jealousy as she saw Rebecca, their adopted sister, receiving a look of affection from Aureliano. As days passed, Aureliano's influence grew. He organized meetings, spoke of justice and freedom, and his silver work became symbols of the revolution he envisioned. The people of Macondo began to see him not just as a craftsman, but as a leader, a beacon of the future they could build together. However, Amaranta's jealousy turned to spite, and she whispered poisonous words into the ears of those who would listen, casting doubt on Aureliano's intention. The climax came when Aureliano led a march to the magistrate's residence, a peaceful protest that demanded their voices be heard. The magistrate, flustered and fearful, attempted to disperse the crowd with his guards. However, the people's determination was stronger, and they stood their ground. In the end, the magistrate was expelled due to his inability to maintain order and his disregard for the people's demand. Aureliano was hailed as the revolutionary leader of Macondo. Yet the victory was bittersweet, for the rifts within the Buendia family had deepened, and the path ahead was fraught with the perils of war and the heartache of divided loyalties. Aureliano's journey had only just begun, and Macondo's future was now in the hands of those who dared to shape their own destiny. The cycle of conflict. The village of Macondo was once again caught in the tumult of war, with Colonel Aureliano Buendia at its core. The air was thick with tension, and the once vibrant streets now bore the somber countenance of its inhabitants. In their dimly lit kitchen, Ursula spoke to her son. "The war is but a shadow, my son. You must step into the light for our family, for Macondo." Colonel Aureliano Buendia's heart was laden with the memories of conflict, yet he led his men with a fervor that inspired both awe and fear. The village square, once a hub of joy and commerce, transformed into a platform for his impassioned declarations. "Brothers and sisters of Macondo," Colonel Aureliano Buendia's voice resonated through the square. "Our battle is for the liberty of our progeny, for a future free from tyranny." In the Buendia household, under the low-hanging moon, Aureliano II grappled with his legacy and desires. "I am a Buendia," he resolved. "I shall embrace both the ardor within me and the obligations of my lineage." As the narrative progressed, the Buendias confronted their challenges with valor. Their decisions, their struggles, and their devotion to each other and to Macondo wove the fabric of their village. And amidst it all, the enduring spirit of Macondo whispered in the winds, a symbol of familial bonds and the perpetual quest for harmony. The imposition of tradition. In the heart of Macondo, the Buendia family home was a melting pot of old and new worlds. Fernanda, the latest addition to the family, brought with her the solemn traditions of her ancestors, which often stood in stark contrast to the Buendia's unrestrained zest for life. One twilight, as the last rays of the sun bathed the room in a warm light, Aureliano II stumbled upon Fernanda in her room. Her fingers paused on a calendar marked with red dates. "What's this?" he inquired, a playful glint in his eyes. "It's my calendar," Fernanda answered, her tone gentle yet firm. "The red days are those of religious observance, times for reflection and renewal." Aureliano's laughter echoed through the room. "Reflection and renewal. Here we embrace each day with joy." Fernanda's expression was one of resolve. Yet, there is a place for quiet contemplation, even amidst joy. Their exchange was gently interrupted by Ursula, whose presence brought a sense of calm wisdom. "What are these talks of quiet days amid our lively home?" she asked, her gaze both tender and perceptive. Fernanda clutched her calendar a bit closer. "It's a practice of my heritage to honor certain days for spiritual clarity." Ursula placed a comforting hand on Fernanda's shoulder. "Child, in Macondo we live fully, but we also understand the value of inner peace. Embrace your practices, but allow yourself to be part of our world too. In the days that followed, a delicate balance began to form. Aureliano II, with his infectious charm, showed Fernanda the beauty of their shared life without diminishing her beliefs. Fernanda found herself navigating the vibrant currents of the Buendia household while holding on to the essence of her traditions. As their individual stories wove into the fabric of Macondo's legacy, the family continued to face the ebb and flow of change with their characteristic blend of humor and passion, their spirit undimmed by the challenges ahead. The twilight of the Buendias. Macondo's vibrancy has faded, and the Buendia house shows its age. Aureliano II paints lottery tickets, resigned to a simpler life. Petra Coates, his partner, remains hopeful for the fair's success. Fernanda writes letters clinging to her dignity. Amaranta, Ursula, and Aureliano ponder their destiny, seeking understanding in Melchiades' prophecies. The family reminisces under the stars, their history a blend of joy and sorrow as they endure the challenges of their era, hopeful for a brighter future.